everyone, this is Orlando Premier Beauty Show, and I'm here to present Phon Malone, and we're going to talk about his product, Revel Nail products. So tell us, Phon, how did Revel Nail come about?
So we've been in business for about 5 years. Our main product is dipping powder. I guess timing was right. You know, when we first started out in the dipping powder business, there was only a handful of companies, and you know, our companies have been growing year in, year out, and producing a good product. And now we're to the point where we have 80 employees in our company. In the past 5 years, we've grown drastically in the past 5 years.
Yeah, I know that dipping powder, the acrylic dip powder, is very popular nowadays. How did it come about that you knew that was the market to get into?
Yeah, I mean, you know, if you look at all the products that's out in the market, you know, there's advantages and disadvantages to each one of them. For example, nail polish, you know, doesn't last long. Gel polish gives you that extended durability. And then acrylic, you know, gives you that ultimate durability. And what I know about dipping powder, you know, it's just as strong as acrylic, but it's simple to remove like gel polish. But in addition to that is how easy it is to use and how easy it is to teach someone, because turnover is such a huge issue in nail salons today, where you know you don't want to spend months training a nail tech, and then all of a sudden, you know, he or she goes across the street because someone's paying them a little bit more. Then you lost several months of training. Whereas dipping powder, it's easy enough to use that you could teach someone within a couple days, and they're to the point where they're proficient enough on how to use the product after a couple of days. And it's a quicker and an easier process. And at the same token, you know, a lot of feedback from clients that are wearing it. They see that they're getting natural, healthy nails compared to gel polish or acrylic, and so you know, growth can only be maintained if it comes from both the salon owners and also the clients that's using it. And with dipping powder, both of them are driving it. I knew when we first started getting into dipping powder, we used to get calls from people that would travel to somewhere, like they would travel down to Florida, get dipping powder, and they would go back to like Maryland or Massachusetts, and they can't find a salon that did dipping powder. So they would call us and ask us if we could help them find a salon that did dipping powder. So you know, that tells me that clients are looking for it. And it's usually what we see is, like, after a salon starts using it for about a year or two, dipping powder becomes 80% of their revenue. You know, the rest of the other stuff starts shrinking.
So tell me, what makes the Revel Nail dipping powder product line differ from the other bigger brands, say like S&S and other competitors in the industry?
Well, I would say there's a lot of respectable brands in the company, but we pride ourselves on the number of colors that we have, and how our capability in terms of our manufacturing capability, that we're able to supply the market on a relatively short notice. And then we're constantly upgrading and improving our color selections, you know, matching market trend, matching colors. So that's what we pride ourselves on.
Excellent. And how many colors do you have, speaking of?
I currently have 280 colors. We are in the midst of turning over 87 colors that, quote unquote, we're retiring. But when we're retiring, we're going to be adding 87 new and exciting colors to replace that. So we're still going to keep 280. And ideally, you know, 280 is a lot to manage, the number of SKUs. Because not only do we sell it in 1 ounce, but we sell it in ½ ounce and 2 ounce jars. And you know, when you get to 280 times 3 SKUs, that's a lot of SKUs to be keeping around your warehouse. So
tell us about the application process for Revel Dip system, because I know each systems have their own method. And I'm just interested to know, say like for your color, what the kind of process that's required.
So we have simplified our process to the point where we don't need a prep or a bonder. Our adhesion in our pro base or base is good enough that we don't need a bonder.
So you don't need like a clear coat before you put a color?
No. I mean, for weaker nails, you know, we recommend using a clear coat, but someone that has normal nails, you don't need a clear coat on them.
What are some of the challenges that you have with the dip product that you have with that you get feedback from nail techs?
I would say probably like 9 out of 10 complaints that we get is really associated with the shine for the finish gel. And what causes that is new nail technicians are not used to not known how to apply the finish gel. Once we get to the point where we show them how to do it, it's a really, really simple fix. And these problems that they're having, it's just an application area. It is a really easy fix. Like usually what we tell people is call us and tell us the issues that we're having, and we know based on what the issues are, what they're doing to cause those issues. And it's a matter of just telling them, hey, you're doing this, now I need you to do this, 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 and the problem will go away. And it's that simple.
One of the challenges I've had, I haven't used Revel dip system, but I have used other dip systems before, and just me as a nail tech, I've noticed some challenges with it when I'm applying the base coat, which is what makes the powder adhere, and giving it on evenly, making sure we got a nice product line around the cuticle and the sidewall area, and getting it nice and clean. Do you have any tips that you can provide nail techs about how to get a nice, smooth,
clean dip?
Without having that bumps or anything?
Bumps, yeah. So what causes the bump is it's the amount of base that you actually put on the nail. So you want to apply as thin of a coat as possible. Like you don't, so the key is when you pull the brush out of the bottle, and you'll see that some of the experienced nail tech, if you ever watch them, what they do is they tilt the brush a little bit because they're removing some of the base from the brush. And that means you have less on the brush, so it makes it easier to apply a thinner coat on the nail. And then once you dip it, you don't have that excess glue being pushed or absorbing some excess powder that's giving you the bump.
So just kind of relax and make sure to put as thin a coat as possible.
Yeah.
Be very conservative and don't worry about it.
It's tough because they're used to applying nail polish or gel polish where that's not the case.
Right.
Because if you apply gel polish or nail polish really thin, you don't get that coverage that you need.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a different mentality. So what we're fighting is people that have been doing this for 10, 15, 20 years, that now we're telling them to do this. It's a challenge. But with time, you can always teach an old dog new trick.
It's definitely change is hard for some people, but I get it. Yeah, that was one of the changes I noticed is, we're thinking about getting that color on nice and solid, but you can't treat the base coat cyanoacrylate to do that. Make sure it's thin. So that's really good advice. I want to thank you for your time so much.